What is up, everyone? This is the best dang Copa America preview you can find on the internet. I spent the better part of 2 weeks researching each team, watching game tape, and reading as much as I could. So today, we're going through every single group and every single nation competing in the 2024 Copa America. I'll give a broad overview of the state of each team, discuss their managers and how they like to play, strengths and weaknesses of the squad, and the expectations of the home fans. Now, I'm not going to claim to be an expert in all 16 nations, but nobody is, and I've done my best to put in as much effort as possible to do these nations justice. This turned out to be 23 pages of notes, and I don't think I've ever worked on a bigger project for YouTube before, so don't do it yet. But if at any point during this video you have a positive thought or learned something new, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Let's dive right into it, starting with Argentina. As the reigning world champions and holders of the previous Copa America title, Argentina heads into the 2024 tournament with the weight of expectation and the brilliance of Lionel Messi. But beneath the surface, questions linger about the team's vulnerabilities and whether they can maintain their dominance. Lionel Scaloni's transformation from an unknown figure to a legendary manager in Argentina is nothing short of remarkable. At just 46 years of age, he's led Argentina to 2 major international titles, the Copa America in 2021 and the World Cup in 2022. His tactical acumen and ability to inspire his players has been pivotal in these wins. Now, despite these achievements, Scaloni's journey hasn't been without its challenges. After a tension-filled period in 2023, including a near resignation and rumors of a rift with the Argentine Football Federation, Scaloni's future beyond this Copa America tournament remains uncertain. His legacy, however, is already etched in history, and how he concludes this chapter could further define his place in Argentina football lore. Argentina's tactical flexibility, which is a hallmark of their 2022 World Cup campaign, remains a significant strength of theirs. Scaloni's willingness to adapt tactics to opponents has paid off, and supported by a talented and versatile midfield. Enzo Fernandez, Alexis McAllister, and Rodrigo de Paul are modern midfielders skilled in passing and ball progression, capable of controlling the game's tempo. Obviously, Lionel Messi, despite being 36, continues to be Argentina's linchpin. His ability to play multiple roles and impact the game remains unmatched. Alongside him, players like Julian Alvarez and fullbacks Molina and Tagliafico add depth and dynamism, ensuring Argentina's dominance in possession and effectiveness on the counterattack. The 2022 World Cup exposed some of Argentina's flaws, particularly their inconsistency and defensive vulnerabilities. The aging backline is a concern, with Tottenham's Romero being a standout performer. However, his likely partner, Nicolas Otamendi, lacks speed, potentially exposing Argentina when playing a high line. Lisandro Martinez's fitness issues further complicate the defensive setup, and a pairing of Romero and Martinez would be ideal, but Scaloni might rely on other options like German Pizzella or Lucas Martinez Quarta, both of whom have their limitations. Managing these defensive challenges will be crucial in how Scaloni approaches the tournament. In Argentina, the expectation is clear. Bring home another Copa America trophy. The confidence back home is high, driven by the team's recent successes and their wins in major tournaments. For Lionel Messi and Lionel Scaloni, this tournament represents a potential final act with the national team, adding an emotional impetus to their campaign. However, a failure to win could spark debates about the future direction of this team, including the transition away from the Messi era, with players like Angel Di Maria set to retire from international football post-Copa America. This tournament is a last dance for many of the old guard. Regardless of the outcome, though, the need to refresh the national team and prepare for the 2026 World Cup is imminent. As Peru approaches Group A, the team finds itself at a crossroads, led by a seasoned hand of Jorge Fossati. After a pretty poor start to the 2026 World Cup qualification campaign, Peru's hopes in this tournament hinge on a blend of aging veterans and emerging talents under the stewardship of the beloved paternalistic figure as a coach. Now, just 6 months ago, Peru was languishing at the bottom of the South American qualifying group for the 2026 World Cup, a dire situation that led to the dismissal of coach Juan Reynoso. Enter Jorge Fossati, the 71-year-old Uruguayan who has breathed new life into the squad. Known affectionately as the grandfather, Fossati's tenure has brought a renewed sense of optimism and stability. His influence extends beyond tactics. His Peruvian title win with Universitario last year earned him respect in the country, and his protective, nurturing nature has endeared him to players and fans. The optimism to potentially escape the group is building, especially after friendly victories against Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic in March. But the squad lacks a wealth of young prospects. Now, Oliver Sonn stands out. He's a Danish-born defender who debuted in March for the team after gaining Peruvian citizenship. His versatility allows him to play on either flank, and his presence adds a fresh dynamic to the team. The coach favors a 3-5-2 formation, utilizing wingbacks who are crucial in both defense and attack. The system suits Peru pretty well, particularly with the likes of Luis Advincula on the right, whose relentless energy, even at 34 years old, remains unmatched. However, the team does remain a work in progress, and Fossati's experimentation with different starting 11s highlights the ongoing search for a cohesive unit going into this tournament, especially in the defense and midfield, where top-level experience is sparse. The attacking front, featuring legends Paulo Guerrero and Gianluca Lapadula, suffers from age-related decline. Guerrero is 40 years old and hasn't scored an open play since the 2019 Copa America, and Lapadula struggles to maintain the intensity that he needs for 90 minutes. Peru does have a storied history in the Copa America, consistently reaching the latter stages in recent editions. Now, despite this track record, expectations this year are tempered, because the scars from Reynoso's tenure, very recently marked by poor results and a reliance on aging stars, have led to this cautious outlook. Fossati has restored some unity, and a recent goalless draw with Paraguay suggests that the team is on the right path. However, with the World Cup qualification looming, the Copa America may serve more as a proving ground for Fossati's evolving squad rather than platform for deep tournament success. After narrowly defeating Trinidad and Tobago in the play-in game, Canada's best group of players in soccer history are set to make their mark at the Copa America 2024. Their first challenge is facing the world champions Argentina and Lionel Messi. Under the leadership of Jesse Marsch, Canada hopes to harness their energy and surprise the competition in this tournament. Now, lots of Americans will be familiar, but anyone who's not, Jesse Marsch's appointment as Canada's head coach came just over a month before the Copa America tournament started, following John Herdman's departure in August of 2023. With Canada facing financial difficulties, the hire was funded by donations from Canada's 3 Major League Soccer teams. Jesse Marsch is known for his energetic and pressing style, and he brings experience from managing New York Red Bulls, Red Bull Salzburg, and RB Leipzig. Most recently, he helped Leeds United avoid relegation in 2022 before being sacked in February of 2023. Now, Marsch's tactics focus on high-energy pressing, counter-attacking, and relentless movement. How this will translate to Canada's play on short notice will be a key storyline in the tournament. Tajon Buchanan emerged as Canada's standout player during the 2022 World Cup, earning a move to Inter Milan. His speed, creativity, and ability to create chances make him a crucial player in Marsch's system. Buchanan's aggressive style could thrive under the high-octane approach, making him a player to watch. Now, we all know about Alphonso Davies, the Bayern Munich man. He tied the top speed in the Bundesliga this season, and Tajon Buchanan did the same in the 2022 World Cup. So this squad is very pacey, and players like Alistair Johnston, Kone, and Richie Larea also bring high-end speed, which I think suits Marsch's pressing and counter-attacking style. Canada's ability to play direct, fast-paced soccer was evident in their World Cup opener against Belgium, where they outplayed their opponent but were unlucky not to get a result. With the heightened tactical instruction under Marsch, Canada's speed will be pivotal in launching counterattacks against teams like Argentina and Peru. Now, the weakness here, I think, is the center back position, and it's long been a concern. The departure of aging veterans and the need for a defensive transition comes at a pretty bad time before a major tournament, because Steven Vittoria, who started every game in the World Cup, is no longer with the squad, and Kamal Miller's club form has dropped, and he's been more unreliable for Canada. While other center backs, Derek Cornelius or Moise Bombito, show promise, they do lack the experience that their teammates who play in top European leagues have. This disparity could pose challenges against stronger opponents. Now, the World Cup campaign in Qatar did end in disappointment, and the subsequent losses and disputes with Canadian soccer has dampened the optimism back home. Forced into a playing game against Trinidad and Tobago, Canada's journey to the tournament has been challenging. Now, while they do possess dangerous attacking talent, I think the expectations are they might get out of the group, they might not. The team's pre-tournament performance did include a historic 0-0 draw against France, and it provided a confidence boost showing that they can play organized and mature soccer. Despite this, I do think public enthusiasm in Canada has waned compared to the pre-World Cup excitement. Now, if Canada falters at the Copa America, they do risk falling back into obscurity in the mainstream Canadian sports landscape. Chile. Where to start with Chile? The sense of optimism that once surrounded La Roja has dimmed. The echoes of their back-to-back titles in 2015 and 2016 are still there, but the squad now is a mix of aging stars and very few new faces, but they're led by an experienced manager, Ricardo Gareca. The Argentine manager, with his distinct rock star demeanor, is revered for guiding Peru to the 2018 World Cup and a runner-up finish in the 2019 Copa America tournament. These achievements do shine bright given Peru's subsequent struggles. Gareca's task with Chile is formidable. Since the days of Marcelo Bielsa and Jorge Sampaoli, Chile have struggled to recapture its former glory. He has made some pretty big decisions before the tournaments even kicked off, excluding veterans Arturo Vidal, Gary Medel, and Charles Aranguiz from his initial squad. Now this move, controversial to many, signals his intent to rejuvenate the team and assert his vision. On the field, he'll look to employ a pragmatic 4-2-3-1 system, which is a departure from the frenetic style that characterized Chile in the 2010s. Among the veterans in this team, a hope shines with Dario Osorio. The left-footed winger plying his trade with Danish champions Midtjylland has shown flashes of brilliance that he can bring to the national team. His performance against France, capped by a late goal, underscores his potential to become a key player for Chile. Now, despite the exclusion of some big names, the squad does retain a wealth of experience. Claudio Bravo, Mauricio Isla, Alexis Sanchez, and Eduardo Vargas, veterans of those 2015 and 2016 campaigns, bring over 550 caps worth of experience. Age is both a strength and a weakness. The physical demands of this tournament may expose the limitations of a squad built around players in their mid-30s. And the coach's challenge is to balance this experience with the energy of younger players, ensuring that the team can compete against more youthful, dynamic opponents. While Gareca's arrival has sparked some hope, there is an acknowledgement that this tournament may be more about transition than triumph. A successful campaign could provide a fitting send-off for the golden generation, while a less favorable outcome will give Gareca the mandate to continue his rebuilding efforts with younger players. Alright, let's move to Group B. After a lackluster World Cup in 2022, Mexico enters the 2024 Copa America with a fresh approach under Jaime Lozano. Emphasizing youth, Lozano aims to rebuild and prepare for the 2026 World Cup on home soil. However, as Mexico does navigate this transitional period, the passionate fans may struggle with the growing pains of having the USA as their daddy. The 45-year-old Lozano has brought a breath of fresh air to the senior national team with his focus on youth. This shift marks a significant departure from Mexico's tradition of relying on veteran squads. Now, his previous roles include coaching Mexico's under-23 team to a bronze medal at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and a brief challenging stint with Liga MX side Necaxa. Despite his inexperience, though, Lozano's appointment has been a welcome challenge after the tumultuous reign of Argentine and current Inter Miami coach Tata Martino. His Mexican heritage has resonated with fans, ending the nationalistic tensions that plagued his predecessor. His permanent appointment in August of last year did follow a brief interim period, and now the Copa America presents a critical test for his leadership. With Club America's Luis Angel Malagón out due to injury, Santos Laguna's Carlos Acevedo steps in as the new goalkeeper. And at 28 years old, he brings experience and flair, marked by his rock star hair and acrobatic saves. His presence signals Lozano's commitment to nurturing younger talent, aligning with the broader strategy of rejuvenation. I do think it says something about Mexico when we're talking about 28-year-olds as a breath of fresh air that really shows you how much they've relied on older players in the past. Now, despite the tournament's diluted field in the 2023 Gold Cup, Mexico's victory did showcase their offensive potential. The team scored 12 goals and conceded just 2, highlighting Lozano's focus on collective play. Feyenoord striker Santi Jimenez, poised to fill the shoes of Raul Jimenez, is expected to lead the attack with his dynamic presence. The midfield does remain a cornerstone of the team's strength. Captain Edson Alvarez of West Ham brings leadership and stability, while Dynamo Moscow's Luis Chavez adds a threat with his set-piece prowess. 6 of Mexico's midfielders participated in the 2022 World Cup, providing a blend of experience and potential. Now, despite the infusion of youth, Mexico does face significant challenges. The talent level has been questioned, particularly after the sound defeat to the US in the CONCACAF Nations League final in March. This loss did highlight the gap between Mexico and the US, underscoring the need for strength and spatial awareness in the modern game for this team. The Copa America will test Mexico's ability to compete against stronger teams, but I would say Group B, which includes Ecuador, Venezuela, and Jamaica, is seen as the most balanced group, promising intense and physical matches. And while the attack and midfield do show promise, the defense does remain a work in progress, and how well the coach can mold this unit will be critical to Mexico's success. In this tournament, I do think that expectations should be tempered for Mexico. They've really underperformed their talent level for the last few years, but knowing the fan base, I don't think that it will be tempered. They will expect this team to go deep into this tournament. The fervent fan base demands immediate results, and patience may wear thin if the team struggles. Now, if you do want to follow the team with the most drama, I would say Mexico is a close second to Jamaica, because star forward Leon Bailey was included in the first roster despite his public declaration to take a break from the national team. And as the Reggae Boys prepare for their challenging group stage matches, the situation surrounding Bailey adds an extra layer of intrigue to their campaign. Now, their coach, Heimir Hallgrímsson, known for his tenure with Iceland, has brought his tactical acumen to Jamaica, and under his guidance, the team aims to make a significant impact at the Copa America. The coach's experience in leading underdog teams to punch above their weight will be crucial as Jamaica faces very strong opponents in the group stage. In the absence of a firm commitment from Leon Bailey, other players will need to step up. They do have Brentford's Ethan Pinnock, Fulham's Bobby de Cordova-Reid, and West Ham's Mikel Antonio. Now, their strength lies in their attacking potential and physical presence on the pitch. Antonio, specifically with his robust playing style and goal-scoring ability, will be a key figure in the forward line. The team's recent performances in the World Cup qualifiers did showcase their ability to secure crucial victories. I will give them that. Now, the inclusion of those Premier League talents do provide a solid defensive backbone and midfield creativity, respectively, but the rest of their team is quite thin in terms of talent and where they play at a club level. I think the ongoing uncertainty around some of the players on their roster and their participation is going to be a significant distraction to this team. If Leon Bailey does sit this tournament out, I think his absence will be a significant blow to Jamaica's attacking options, given that his pace, creativity, and goal-scoring ability is way above everybody else on this roster. I do think their defensive setup is a vulnerability, and it could be exploited by stronger teams in the group stage. Jamaica is a weird team to set expectations for because they have a coach that is good with playing with underdogs. They have some of the best high-end talent, Premier League players in this team, but they also have some of the lowest end talent that really doesn't fill out this squad. I would say there's cautious pessimism for Jamaica, and their best bet is to rely on fighting for every single point in a very balanced group. Ecuador, like many others, enter Copa America with a mix of experience and burgeoning talent. Under the guidance of Felix Sanchez, they aim to shed their perennial dark horse label and make a deep run in this tournament. The question is, can they finally break through on the international stage? Felix Sanchez's managerial journey has been a wild one. He was at Barcelona's academy, then he was the head coach of Qatar at the 2022 World Cup, where his team finished as the worst performing host nation in history. But he now does helm one of South America's most promising squads. And at 48, the ex-Barcelona youth coach is looking to turn Ecuador's potential into tangible success. I do think he will have a pragmatic approach and reflects his deep understanding of the challenges to get out of this group. They do have some good players like right fullback Angelo Preciado. He's a standout in this Ecuador squad. He combines defensive vigor with an attacking flair, and his energy and physicality make him a formidable presence on the right flank. Now, Ecuador's ability to attack effectively in transition is one of their key strengths, and they are adept at sitting in a low block and defending with numbers, as demonstrated in their narrow 1-0 defeat to Argentina in World Cup qualifying, where they frustrated Lionel Messi for much of the match. At 34 years old, Enner Valencia does remain a potent goal-scoring threat. As Ecuador's all-time top scorer, his presence up front is invaluable for this team. It also boasts young talent like Chelsea's Kendry Páez and Bayer Leverkusen's Piero Hincapié, a left-footed center back with ball-playing capabilities who played a pivotal role in his club's undefeated Bundesliga campaign. Despite all of that talent, Ecuador does often struggle in major tournaments, a point that Sanchez has acknowledged. Their mentality has been questioned, especially away from the altitude of Quito, where they are less predictable. Advancing from this group is not guaranteed. Consistency and mental fortitude will be crucial if they are to progress beyond the group stage and into the knockouts. This tournament does represent a chance for Ecuador to build on that progress from the 2022 World Cup, where they just missed the knockout rounds. I think back home there's going to be a cautious yet optimistic tone to get out of this group and into the knockout stages. Venezuela is going to be considered one of the tournament's underdogs, but with a talented coach and a robust forward leading the line, expectations, I think, are cautiously optimistic here. Venezuela hopes to leverage their recent progress and avoid disappointment by aiming for a quarterfinal spot. Fernando Batista's journey from an unspectacular playing career in Argentina to one of South America's most promising managers is a testament to his resilience and skill. Known primarily as the brother of World Cup winning midfielder Sergio Batista, Fernando initially cut his managerial teeth with Armenia's youth teams. His big break came when he joined Venezuela's setup under his mentor, Jose Pekerman, in 2021. When Pekerman left following a fallout with the federation president, Batista stayed on and took over the reins. His continuity has been a boon for Venezuela, guiding them to a strong start in World Cup qualifying with 9 points from 6 matches. He favors a pragmatic 4-3-3 system and emphasizes overcoming Venezuela's historical inferiority complex. His focus on morale and mentality aims to reshape the team's psyche for long-term success. While not a guaranteed starter, Kervin Tuti Andrade is a name to watch. The attacking midfielder, known for his deft through balls and free kicks, has impressed since moving to Brazilian side Fortaleza. Defensively, Venezuela is solid, evidenced by conceding only 15 goals in their last 20 matches. The backline's physicality and consistent selection have made them tough to break down, and the hard-working midfield adds an extra layer of protection. Their offensive output is a concern. Salomon Rondon remains a reliable goal scorer, but the supporting cast around him does lack firepower. The midfield, though industrious, does not contribute significantly to the attack, making it easier for stronger teams to contain Venezuela's goal-scoring ability. I think this year the mood is one of cautious optimism. Progress under Batista has been promising, and avoiding powerhouses like Brazil and Argentina in the group stage does boost their confidence. I think they have a realistic shot of reaching the quarterfinals. Alright, on to the USA. This roster is the most talented squad the country has ever seen. Led by stars like AC Milan's Christian Pulisic, Dortmund's Gio Reyna, and Bournemouth's Tyler Adams, the team is aiming to make a significant impact on this tournament and deep run. Their coach Greg Berhalter continues to helm the US team. He does bring stability and a clear vision of how he wants to play. Fans will say one thing, but his leadership has been instrumental in shaping this young squad, building a brotherhood away from club football. His tactical decisions and focus on team cohesion will be crucial to see how the US navigates through a challenging Copa America campaign that will likely include quarterfinal matchups against tournament favorites Brazil or Colombia. The roster for the Copa America features 18 players who were part of the 2022 World Cup, showcasing continuity and experience. The team's preparations included friendlies against Colombia, which they got crushed 5-1, and Brazil, in which they tied 1-1. This US squad is the second youngest ever sent to Copa America, with an average age of 25 years and 230 days. The inclusion of 9 players aged 23 or younger does highlight the team's focus on youth development, and key young talents like Brendan Aronson, Fuller Balogun, Johnny Cardoso, Christopher Lund, Malik Tillman, Yunus Musa, Ricardo Pepi, Gio Reyna, and Joe Scally are all in that bucket. Among these players, I do think that Gio Reyna is the standout for his ability and skill on the ball to create chances and control the tempo of the game. It's going to be pivotal for the US to go deep in this tournament. We do have a dynamic mix of speed, skill, and tactical versatility. Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, and Timothy Weah bring in valuable experience from top European leagues. The defensive line is anchored by veteran Tim Ream at an age of almost 37 years old. He becomes the oldest outfield player named to a US Copa America roster, bringing grandfatherly wisdom and stability to the backline. He's joined by younger defenders like Anthony Robinson, Chris Richards, and Joe Scally, who do offer something a bit different respectively. Injuries and fitness concerns present challenges for the US. Josh Sargent's foot injury raises questions about his availability, and while he did not play in the recent friendlies, his progress is being monitored closely. The team's depth in the striker position includes Fuller Balogun and Ricardo Pepi, but their performance under tournament pressure remains to be seen. The midfield balance is another area of focus. Tyler Adams is working his way back to full fitness, and he played limited minutes against Brazil. His leadership and defensive capabilities are so important for this team, but his readiness to start remains uncertain. So we have Yunus Musa and Johnny Cardoso, who will step up and provide stability and creativity in the midfield if Tyler Adams isn't ready to go. I think public enthusiasm for this team remains high, fueled by the coming of age of the golden generation, and the team's recent 1-1 draw against Brazil have instilled confidence in the team, and fans hope for a deep run in this tournament. Now, the emphasis on youth development and tactical flexibility under Berhalter's guidance will make or break this team's performance this summer. Now, Panama does enter this tournament as one of the weaker teams, but with a squad capable of springing surprises. The team, under a new leadership of coach Thomas Christensen, looks to build on their recent performances and make a mark in the competition historically dominated by the South American giants. Thomas Christensen, appointed as Panama's head coach in 2020, has brought a fresh approach and tactical acumen to his team. His experience in European football, both as a player and a manager, has been instrumental in shaping Panama's playing style. His emphasis on tactical discipline and organized play has revitalized the team, making them a very tough opponent for any side. Panama will set up in a 4-4-2 formation, focusing on defensive solidity and quick transitions. Now, I think this approach has paid dividends, with Panama showing resilience and flexibility in their recent matches. And under the coach's guidance, Panama will aim to defy expectations and progress beyond the group stage in Copa America. But I do think it's going to be very difficult, with the US and Uruguay being huge favorites to advance out of the group. One of the young standout talents in this team is midfielder Christian Martinez, who has shown promise with his creativity and vision. His ability to link play and create opportunities is going to be so important for Panama's attacking endeavors, because they're not going to get a lot of chances. Their strength is really going to rely on their organized defense and ability to play on the counterattack. The defensive line is anchored by experienced players like Harold Cummings and Fidel Escobar. They provide a really solid foundation for that backline. In the midfield, the work rate and tactical awareness of Aníbal Godoy and Alberto Quintero offer both defensive cover and attacking support. I think their main weakness lies in their inconsistency in maintaining possession and the ability to create sustained pressure. While they are effective on the counter, their build-up play can sometimes lack fluidity, leading to turnovers and lost opportunities. Additionally, if their reliance is on their defensive solidity, if they give up a goal early, they're going to be vulnerable for the rest of the game. I think the expectations realistically for this team is that they won't make it out of the tournament, but make their nation proud and put in good and difficult performances against some of the heavyweights of this tournament, like the US and Uruguay. Now, I'm just going to say this straight up. Bolivia is probably the worst team in this tournament across all of South America and the CONCACAF nations. Most of their players come from their domestic league, and they are going to face a huge uphill battle being in one of the more difficult groups in Copa America. They do have a Brazilian manager, Antonio Carlos Zago, who prefers a pragmatic approach focusing on defensive solidity and quick transitions. Now, I think they do have a strength that lies in their defensive organization and the ability to play cohesively as a unit. The defensive line is anchored by experienced players like Edward Centeno and Luis Gutierrez. They also have goalkeeper Carlos Sampi, who's known for his shot-stopping ability and leadership in the back. Now, their main weakness is their lack of attacking firepower and their inconsistency in maintaining possession. The absence of Ronald Raldes, their inspirational skipper who retired last year, leaves a huge leadership void in the defense. Additionally, Bolivia struggles to perform away from their high-altitude capital of La Paz, which has historically been their fortress. And if you don't know, La Paz is pretty much twice the height, twice the elevation of Denver, Colorado. If their main threats are neutralized, Bolivia may find it difficult to create and convert chances. I think expectations for the Copa America campaign are pretty modest and realistic. The team's recent form, with only one win in their last 7 games, dampens hope for a deep run in this tournament. With a joint record 15 Copa America titles to their name and the legendary Marcelo Bielsa at the helm, Uruguay is expected to be a major contender in the Copa America 2024. Bielsa is a name that needs no introduction. Known for his mercurial personality and stubborn tactical philosophy, the 68-year-old has revolutionized teams wherever he's gone. From Chile's national team to Leeds United, Bielsa now holds the reins of one of South America's most promising squads, and his arrival has brought renewed optimism to Uruguay. Taking over the job just a year ago, Bielsa has inherited a squad with rich history, but also one that needed a fresh approach. Now, despite initial growing pains, back-to-back wins over Brazil and Argentina in World Cup qualifying solidified the belief that Bielsa is the right man for the job. They do boast experienced players like Real Madrid's Federico Valverde and Liverpool's Darwin Núñez, but playmaker Nicolas de la Cruz is a name to watch. The 27-year-old has proven himself at River Plate and now with Flamengo in Brazil. His versatility and intelligence on the ball make him a big part of Bielsa's plans. Now, their strengths, I think, lie in their hardworking mentality and tactical flexibility under Bielsa. The squad features a blend of seasoned veterans and younger, more athletic players, which help with their high-pressing style. Defensively, too, Uruguay is solid, with Barcelona defender Ronald Araujo leading the back line. They're also dangerous on set pieces, and as you can tell, they really don't have any major flaws. Bielsa has implemented his high-pressing style, which allows Uruguay to disrupt opponents and create counter-attacking opportunities, which are deadly with these faster players. Their ability to defend well and transition quickly makes them a huge favorite for this summer's tournament. Now, I will say their one weakness is that Bielsa's aggressive tactics can sometimes leave the team exposed, especially against possession-dominant sides. the defenders are required to play out of pressure, which can lead to risky situations. I think back home, the nation expects nothing less than a deep run in this tournament, with aspirations of reaching the final. Now, Bielsa's meticulous preparation and the squad's dedication to provide a solid foundation for success are there. I think their football culture, combined with Bielsa's experience, sets a stage for a potentially historic campaign. And if their key players can perform and Bielsa's tactics are executed effectively, they have the potential to reach the final and vie for their 16th Copa America title. Okay, on to Group D. Brazil is not accustomed to playing second fiddle in South America, but recent years have seen Argentina steal the spotlight from them. They do have a new generation of superstars led by Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. and rising talents like Endrick. Brazil might be poised for a power grab back at Copa America 2024. Their manager, Dorival Jr., stepped into the Brazil job in January amid a chaotic backdrop. He became their third coach since the 2022 World Cup, following a string of disappointing performances and results. Their lackluster start to World Cup qualifiers had left them 6th in a 10-team South American group, a position that is far below their usual standards. Now, despite that turmoil, Dorival has managed to steady the ship. Dorival prefers to adapt his strategies based on the players at his disposal, rather than imposing a rigid system. Now, the pragmatism was evident in Brazil's March friendlies against England and Spain, where a 4-3-3 formation brought notable improvements. While many have heard of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo, the 17-year-old wonder kid Endrick is a name to watch. Set to join Real Madrid this summer, Endrick is an amazingly complete forward for his age. His performances in recent friendlies, including goals against England and Spain, do highlight, I think, his maturity and confidence on the big stage. Now, as always, this squad is brimming with quality and depth, particularly on the wings. Vinicius Jr. is ready to take the leading role emerging from Neymar's shadow at the international level, and his partnership with Rodrigo, who often drifts to join him on the left, will be crucial. Now, beyond these two, they do boast an array of talented wingers: Rafinha, Gabriel Martinelli, Pepe, and the exciting newcomer Savio. Defensively too, I think Brazil benefits from the stability provided by goalkeeper Alisson and center backs Marquinhos and Eder Militao. The latter's fitness is a concern, but Gabriel provides a reliable backup if needed. I think in weaknesses, their left back position does remain a question mark. Wendell, who had a strong season at Porto, does lack the international experience that the rest of the players have, having only made his senior debut in March. Expectations for Brazil at any major tournament are invariably high. However, the absence of Neymar, Casemiro, and Thiago Silva does give an opportunity for younger players to make their mark. This younger, fresher team does carry fewer psychological scars from past disappointments. I think the team and the coach knows that expectations can shift rapidly in tournament football, and anything less than a finals appearance will likely be deemed a failure. Colombia has long been regarded as one of South America's second-tier sides, but they do head into this summer's Copa America in impressive form under their head coach Nestor Lorenzo. Despite limited head coaching experience, Lorenzo has overseen a remarkable turnaround for this squad. Colombia is unbeaten in 20-plus matches under his guidance, including notable wins against Germany, Spain, and Brazil. A similar performance in the Copa America could elevate Lorenzo to hero status back home. John Arias, I think, is a key player who has flown under the radar due to the presence of bigger names in the squad. The 26-year-old Fluminense winger had a breakout year in 2023, helping his club win their first ever Copa Libertadores. Arias' pace, intelligence, and versatility make him a vital part of Lorenzo's plan, capable of playing on either wing or as a central attacking midfielder. His recent international form suggests he is ripe for a breakout summer. The coach has made tactical adjustments that have transformed Colombia into a more direct and dynamic team. With Liverpool's Luis Diaz always ready to run and two aggressive attacking fullbacks, Colombia now has a vertical dimension that was previously missing. They've also become more clinical in front of goal, scoring freely in recent friendlies. Defensively, I think Colombia is very strong here. They have a young core of John Lucumi, Carlos Cuesta, and Daniel Munoz. And despite the presence of European-based players, Colombia does still struggle with a championship mindset in major tournaments. Their history of falling short on the big stage, including a third-place finish in the 2021 Copa America, continues to haunt them. Now, tactically, I think they can be exposed a little bit in the central midfield because Lorenzo does rely on James Rodriguez, who, while still talented, doesn't really contribute defensively, and this can leave Colombia vulnerable to opponents who exploit this weakness. I will say back home there is significant optimism about Colombia's chances to go deep in this tournament. With global stars across the board and a crazy run of recent form, I think the time is now for Colombia to showcase their talent and lift a trophy against the best in the region. Now Costa Rica is going to be a tough one because with the legendary 114 cap goalkeeper Keylor Navas now retired from international football, a new-look Costa Rican team will have their work cut out if they want to match the impressive achievements of previous teams, especially as the draw has not been kind to them. Gustavo Alfaro, an Argentinian with extensive experience, took over as Costa Rica's head coach in November. Alfaro guided Ecuador to the quarterfinals of the previous Copa America in 2021 and also led them to the World Cup in 2022, where they impressed with a win against host Qatar and a draw with the Netherlands before narrowly missing out on the knockout stages after a loss to Senegal. Alfaro is 61 years old, and he has a rich resume, having managed 15 clubs across a 32-year coaching career, including a stint with Argentine giants Boca Juniors. This is pretty much their strength, Costa Rica, in terms of getting out of this group. It is going to be very difficult for this team because they don't really have a ton of talent within this squad. They've really fallen off after Keylor Navas, who was by far their best player for years and years, is no longer with this team. I do think they have a strength that lies in their organizational discipline and counterattacking ability, but historically they've excelled in tournaments by staying compact and hitting teams on the break. This approach led them to the World Cup quarterfinals in 2014, but again, the core group from that team is long gone. For Costa Rica to have any chance in this group stage, they really need to be efficient in their defense and their ability to score goals on their counterattack. Defensively, I do think they can struggle when they become unbalanced or undisciplined, and maintaining their defensive structure against top teams like Colombia and Brazil will be vital to avoid being picked apart. Now, in this transition phase, I do think they're going to have huge struggles at this tournament, and fans understand that advancing from a group that contains Brazil, Colombia, and Paraguay is going to be a daunting task. Paraguay heads into the Copa America with the squad riddled with vulnerabilities, particularly up front and in defense. The absence of key players like Diego Gomez due to injury further compounds their challenges. They'll need their Premier League stars to be at their best to stand a chance of progressing. They do have an Argentine coach, Daniel Garnero, who has been in Paraguay since 2015, and he embodies the traditional values of the Paraguayan game with his touchline persona full of anger and perceived injustice. Now, despite his domestic success as a coach, Garnero is not universally popular. He has a temperamental relationship with journalists and an arrogance that rubs some the wrong way. Tactically on the pitch, he favors a 4-3-3 system and advocates for a more attacking approach, a shift from Paraguay's traditionally dogged style. However, his results have yet to reflect this ambition, with Paraguay scoring just once in 4 competitive games under his leadership. Even without Diego Gomez, Paraguay's midfield remains robust with players like Matías Villasante and Andrés Cubas. Villasante is a rangy ball winner, he's been excellent in form with Grêmio in Brazil, and Cubas, who does look like a schoolboy, but he plays with the tenacity of a seasoned veteran, excels in breaking up play and adding to the defensive solidity from midfield. Their partnership is going to be vital for Paraguay's hopes this summer. They do struggle with the lack of reliable goal scorers. Antonio Sanabria, once a great hope, has failed to deliver at the international level and is not in the squad. Adam Barrero, currently the main striker, has yet to score for the national team. Other options like Derlis Gonzalez, back after an 18-month absence, are unproven. Defensively, Paraguay has also shown weaknesses. Captain Gustavo Gomez, a star at Palmeiras, is not as dominant as he once was. The defense, which is historically a strength for this team, has looked shaky in recent matches, raising concerns about their ability to withstand pressure from top teams. And while their future does look promising with the strong showing from the Under-23 South American Pre-Olympic tournament, the expectations for this Copa America, I think, are low. Performances under this coach have been lackluster, and there are doubts about his ability to maximize the potential of Premier League talents like Julio Enciso and Miguel Almiron. The lack of goals and defensive fragilities add to the pessimism surrounding Paraguay's chances this summer. Whew, okay, that is it for Copa America. This took over an hour to record and probably will take hours and hours to edit. If I missed anything, or if there are any players that are key to these teams that I missed, please let me know down below in the comments. My voice is going, my brain is going, my mind is going. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.